I wanted to talk about the problem with freedom. And I've always been pretty free. I've always, you know, been detached from a lot of things, my friends, my parents, my situation, my house. And partially that is thanks to my childhood, partially that is thanks to a lot of other things in my life that happened, and also my personality. Like, I have never, since I was a child, I've never cared about calling somebody and informing what's going on, or what I am doing in my life, or telling somebody what's going on. Like, in the sense of, not just what's going on, but keeping others informed so that they keep you informed. I find it to be a form of greed. But in this video, I will talk about the larger this of the concept of freedom that I have recently discovered, and that I have recently appreciated again, reappreciated, if you will. So let's wait another 10-15 seconds for other people to show up, and then we can start talking about the problem with freedom and why a lot of people do not actually choose freedom. I always suspected this, but I realized it recently. So let's let's begin. Okay, so as you all know, I did have kind of a heartbreak recently, and I've been having heartbreaks throughout my life here and there. But what happened recently is I was very close to, before I got involved with this person, I was very close to living my life as a single man for the rest of my life. Yeah, but there was a very powerful bodily and mental um, push towards being with somebody, yeah, towards having somebody to hug, or having somebody to this at any point of time, or being with somebody, or building memories for that matter, or creating a certain like a memory album, like a life, a witness to your life. And all of these excuses were coming from the body mind complex. And I said, okay, let's give in to them for once and see what it is. Like, just like you give in to alcohol for a bit, or you give in to, like a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people I know give in to drugs for a bit. Uh, and they experience it for themselves, and then they come out of it. Or in some cases, when you're a child and you eat healthy, and then you grow up, and then you just go for slop, you go for McDonald's, you go for anything, you get drunk, you put on weight, and then suddenly later as an adult you rediscover what health is. Similarly, I have rediscovered what freedom is, and I have rediscovered that same freedom that I earlier had in a different light. Now I realize the major problem with freedom, it is sensations in your body. Okay, it's not even about mental sensations. Mind is a part of the body, the brain is a part of the body. But every time you have certain sensations, what you do feel is a certain kind of loneliness. You feel, oh, I wish somebody was there to share this with. Or you say, oh, like when I'm sleeping at night, somebody to keep me warm, as they often say. And there are so many other excuses. But the main issue is that the joy of freedom is firstly above the joy of being with somebody or being with a family. But the joy of freedom is so subtle. Okay, this is the central problem. The joy of freedom is so subtle and it's so little that it's very difficult for most people to reach it. And most people have to work really hard to get to that point where they can say, freedom is joyful. And one second, let me block this fool. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so the freedom of this is so subtle that you come to a point where you say, I like, it takes you years. Like, even today, even though I have experienced a certain freedom and I'm loving it and I'm enjoying it, I still feel these pangs. Sometimes there's like, I feel it for an hour, I feel it for half an hour, I feel it for like 15 minutes, maybe sometimes even for a few seconds. Oh, I wish there was somebody. And then you realize, one second, you have friends, you have people you deal with. Okay, and there are also other women in my life. And if I really absolutely need that, it can be satisfied. But the idea is to get over that, is to get over the will to satisfy it. Okay, you have to be smart about that. And eventually you will reach a point, that subtle point of saying, you know what, I'm going to be single forever. I'm going to be by myself, and I'm going to have all the time in the world. And that's where, you sort of rediscover that freedom. I think all men and women also should go through this once, because there are some people who are lucky enough to say, you know what, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. But some of you have to have a heartbreak, one. And secondly, a lot of you have to re experience the joy of being single. When you wake up on a Saturday morning, you can read whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can go to the beach, you can eat. If you don't want to eat, you don't eat all day, and there's no one nagging you. Okay, and it's not really about the nagging, it's just that there's another person who's hogging your time from your thoughts, from your potential, or even from your just chill. Yeah, even when you're just chilling. So that subtlety, I beg of you to work towards. Okay, it's the same thing. It's similar to enlightenment. Like when people say, "Oh, Buddha was an enlightened soul." No, there is no moment of enlightenment. What happens is you're like a bodybuilder. Yeah, you're building your body every day, and when you reach the perfect, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're still working out. You're still working out every day. You're working out less, but you're still working out. Similarly, this feeling, the subtle feeling of freedom, needs to be worked out. You need to find joy in being alone, and every day, and then it'll be half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And what this relationship taught me recently is that uh, every time I was in the middle of a thought, somebody she would say, "Hey, where are the socks? Hey, where did you keep the this?" And it's not her fault, of course. If you're living together, or you're being with each other, right? There are going to be a thousand things, and there are going to be a thousand things you ask each other. But I don't want those thousand things. Okay, maybe there are some men who do want it, and a lot of women do want it, from what I understand. But get over these things. Like, finish your thought process when you're alone. Okay, I had my thought process, it was going on. When I was by the beach, I have a certain thought process. I was watching something, nobody distracted me, nobody tried to come in the middle. I was watching a series, nobody made me stop the thing in the middle. It was only me or my bladder sometimes. And that is what is absolutely important, that subtlety which you need to catch, and which you need to hold on. Now, will you feel pangs? Will your body mind complex, or what I call the BMC, feel pangs about, oh, I really need to be with someone. Oh, my hormones. Oh, my this. Find someone, okay? Finish it off and get over it. And once you get over it, then again there will be tinier pangs, but the pangs will get smaller and smaller. Okay, for example, Buddha wasn't enlightened 24 hours a day, but most of the day he was chilled out. He knew what was happening. Maybe sometimes he felt emotions, maybe sometimes he got angry. They say this about J Krishnamurti also, that sometimes he would get angry. You lose control, of course, because you are flesh. But after a point, you're going to go beyond it. After a point, you'll be like, yeah, yeah, let the emotions go, no problem. And sometimes you will get into those emotions also, but it will not be for very long, and you'll chill out. So that subtlety is what you really need to work on, the subtlety of freedom. Okay, I am with you. If you ever need anything, you can talk to me. I'm always on this. But the main thing is realize that pleasure is very subtle, and you really have to look for it. Only then it'll come to you. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Let's go. Questions. Bro, I don't understand. In a world where there can be millions of unknown, unwanted, unexpected problems, how can one dare to procreate? Ah, I mean, people are procreating in Gaza. They don't dare. It's not dare. They just don't think about it. Okay, it's not about daring to do anything. It's just that this is what we are doing, and that's it. It's like breathing for them. Okay, so they don't think. Said hi, hi. Very true. Completely agreed. Thank you. Solitude is bliss. Oh yes, oh yes. For some people it's a very obvious bliss. Very very lucky. You're very very lucky. Some people it's not. That's okay. All good. That's just a part of life, I guess. Sorry. Does too much freedom increase confusion instead of happiness? It will. Yes, freedom can be confusing, very 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 confusing, but um it's like this, right? My mother had this experiment as a child. I will tell you about it. She said, you know what, 3 days, Rafael, you do whatever you want. Okay, You can't jump into traffic or anything, but you can do. Let's do whatever you want. Come, you want to go to a hotel? Let's do that. Let's do that. I lost my shit. Okay, and the reason I lost it is because it was too much freedom. Now, you cannot give a child freedom, okay? And after you become an adult, also there are long sections of your life where you cannot give yourself freedom, where you have to be very strong, all right? But once you learn the limits of freedom, you will love it. So, is freedom confusing? Hell yes. Hell yes. But once you learn what to do with your time, how to increase your brain, how to increase your body, get stronger, okay, get smarter, and just keep doing it for the sake of it. There is no goal, believe me. You don't have to find a goal. You don't have to go and say, oh, I'm going to beat this guy up or I'm going to make so much money. No, 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 no. Just keep yourself sharp. And once you learn to keep yourself sharp, then nothing is confusing. Then you adapt to the situation. Your body is already strong, your mind's already smart. Whatever the situation, we'll figure it out. We'll be innovative. Will the world end in 2026? There is this famous Indian meme where an uncle is saying, oh, the world is ending in 2026. It won't end, but it's going to be very close to the end. That's where the I had predicted in 2019 that 2020 is going to be the worst year, and it just happened. So it was for me the best year. But it happened, and it's just going to be down, 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 down now. The markets are saturated, the debt is too high, there are no more people to exploit. The middle class is completely exploited. Now they're exploiting the upper middle class. 10% of the top echelons of the financial echelons are running 50% of the economy. They'll run out of money eventually, and it's all going to be just a mess. And add to that climate change, so we are very close to the end, man. Hi, brother. Good night. Okay. Vihan, you're a file. Empty with questions. Interesting. Empty with questions. Cool. All right. What else? What do Now, does boredom come from lack of meaning rather than lack of activity? No, it only comes from lack of activity. Why is meaning created? The reason meaning is created because it's come from boredom. When you're sitting around and you say, you know what, why am I sitting around? Your brain is saying, I'm suspicious of the lack of activity. Now, why are you suspicious of the lack of activity? Because if you're in the African savannah, okay, and there was no activity, that was the calm before the storm. That means there was a snake in the bush. That meant there was an elephant coming for you. That meant there was a tiger somewhere hiding. Okay? No one likes the calm before the storm. And that is boredom. That is your brain telling you there is too much calm. Do not mess around. Do something. Do something. Make activity happen. And from that emerges capitalism. Okay? So capitalism is all here. It's all here and it's all here. And the parent is the line manager of capitalism. All right? They create the suffering, they create the sadness, they create the everything. Every killer, rapist, everyone was once a child. Okay, who created? The parents. They are the line manager of suffering. Companies are just the symptoms. Like somebody had the CEO, somebody had the owner, the founder, the everything. Yeah, the workers. They are just aspects of a greedy parent. How to react to unnecessary hatred from people. Hmm. So, don't react. There is nothing to react. Let them hit. What are you going to do? They're going to stop. Believe me, one day they are going to stop. Okay. If you've heard of something called the Gulabi Gang, I've lived with the owner for almost a month or two. Yeah, and she says very simply, don't respond to people. Even women need to stop responding to people. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Okay, this does not work if you're a child, unfortunately, but once you're financially independent or whatever, or you don't care about finances, that's the best part. Then you can do whatever you want. To not respond, they will eventually come to you, just like people came to Nihil Anand, and today large sections of the world as anti-natalist, and they're accepting and loving and showering praise and money on anti-natalists. It is only a matter of time. Okay, do do yourself, be who you are. Okay. in heartbreaks, I feel there is a fault of people also, because there are chances that in future they may get rejected. Why are you expecting someone to be fully loyal and caring? It's just a business. I agree. I agree. No, see, it is biological business. Okay, but in my case, the biology is pretty loyal. Like I will be, if I give my word, I'll give my word. That's it. And that, I think a lot of women are like that. I think a decent number of men are also like that. Uh, it's just that you're fighting against biology, and it's going to frustrate you. You cannot fight, you will never win biology. Yeah. And you have to be extremely careful. You have to observe biology for it to eventually fall off, because the pleasure of surpassing biology or overriding biology is again very subtle, very very subtle. Okay, so it's very difficult to say, you know what, I'm not going to sleep with that woman and have the feeling of that, to have that pleasure. So yeah, that's that. For animals, life is all there is. For man, life is a question mark, an irreversible question mark. For man has never found, nor will ever find any answers. Correct, because there is no answer. All right. And the question mark is just simply boredom. It is your brain telling you go and get active, go do something because there's a lion in the bush. That's all. Okay, so there is no question mark. It's all bullshit. How do you know when you are truly living rather than just existing? I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. When your heart beats, okay, and it beats in a way that is strong and tough, when your body feels healthy, okay, when your mind feels happy, that is how you know how that you are living. Okay, like there were times in my life, especially when I tried to end it, where the heart was just not beating properly. It was not excited about anything. All right, and my I had got grown fat, I had grown unhealthy, I had grown thin. Like thin means like I'd grown skinny fat, and my brain was not enjoying, I was not learning new things. All of these things really really matter. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Or shall I move to the Hindi? Looking good. Thank you. All right. I think I'll move to the Hindi. I'll see you all there. It's called Black Shape Academy. I hope most of you all have subscribed, and I will see you all there in about 10 minutes, I guess. Uh, Bye bye. Thank you for showing up. It was lovely. I had a great time speaking. I'm going to speak about the same topic on Hindi on Black Sheep Academy. See you there. Bye.